When are charter schools warranted, and do you expect requests to increase over your term?
That's an excellent question. The county office sees, or the county board of education sees charter school applications when school districts deny them and they decide to keep pulling it forward. And so, there'll be a certain number of renewals for sure in the next couple of years, and whether there are some new ones that come forward will depend on whether school districts approve or don't approve. A charter that provides better services for students than they're able to get in their local district, and by having it in the community improves the overall educational services for the whole community, that's warranted. I think the county office needs to make sure that's in fact how they're overseeing the charter schools they're responsible for. Overall, we're going to just need to make sure we have great public education for as many students as we can, which should be all of them.
Thank you. And Grace?
So charter schools are not necessarily warranted or not warranted. They are a legal entity by legislation that's 30 years old. As far as most recently, though, we have had some changes in the charter school laws. AB 1505 and AB 1507 are probably going to limit, the number of new charters that are going to be coming to the either local school districts or the county board on appeal if they are denied locally. Some of the new criteria which are now necessary to evaluate charter schools include the fiscal impact of the charter school on the local school district. And so when you have a new charter school, which will essentially take money with the student away from the local school district, that negative impact will probably decide for many decisions to not open perhaps a new charter school. But for existing charter schools with renewals, there probably will be just the continuation of existing renewals based on, not based on the financial, but based on academic performance.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. And now we'll continue with a 90-second question, continuing on the theme of charter schools. And Grace, you'll go first. Can you discuss charter schools and accountability in comparison to the other district schools?
That's an interesting question because the accountability for charter schools is dictated by law, and the requirements for accountability are the same kinds of standards and standardized testing that traditional local school districts have to fulfill. But however, the accountability is stricter in a sense because if local charter schools do not meet the academic necessity of increasing performance and maintaining or increasing performance for the different subgroups, the charter school can have its charter in jeopardy. Local school districts don't have that extra criteria of the risk of being closed based on their academics. And so that's one reason why charter schools have this extra accountability, if you will, or they're held more accountable, because if they don't meet the accountability requirements, then they can get closed. For that accountability, though, they do have some flexibility, and that's where their ability to have extra time in seed or innovative programs in pedagogy give them that ability to do more flexible teaching and relationship building with teachers and with parents and with families. But that accountability is strictly held to in evaluation and oversight by the County Office of Education. And we have a very strong department in charter schools that does that oversight.
Thank you. Melissa.
Yeah, for any of the schools that the county office has responsibility for, so that's not all of the charter schools, right? Because there's some charter schools that are approved by their local district. It is important that the county office follows through and makes sure that the metrics that were agreed to in the MOU are in fact looked at and are in fact the charters held accountable to them if they're not meeting them. So, obviously the academic agreements that are made that Grace has brought up, but also agreements on diversity matching the diversity in their communities, particularly around special ed, and making sure that when there are issues and things aren't being met, that there's a plan put in place, and the county office takes some responsibility for a plan being put in place. This is not by law, but this is my own philosophy that this is what I'm about to say, which is if a charter school situation has created a situation that divides a community for whatever reason, I think if the county office is overseeing that charter school, they should provide some help and support, because divided communities is not what we need here. We need communities to hold together, united for our schools and for our students.
Thank you. So we will now move on to a new topic,